I'm in Australia and I'm surfing this shitty wave all day, and like I get out of the water and this guy named Thomas is like, "Hey, my name's Thomas." He was cruising around some van with a couple other guys, surfers I know. He's like, "Do you want to go swimming in our pool? We're staying in a place that has a pool." And I said, "Sure." I just thought it was some soft-spoken dude named Thomas, and swimming in the pool, we're all hanging out. And he asked to take photos of me, and I still kind of didn't really know. Like I was like, "Oh, he's probably a photographer or something." So he like, I remember he had me put on his hat, and I had me stand against this wall, and he's like, "All right, now flap your arms really, really fast." I was like, at that point, like I'd taken photos of people before, but never had someone asked me like, "Flap your arms really fast." I'm like, "Why do you want me to flap my arms really fast?" Like, "Because it'll look like wings." And I was like, "All right, this guy's totally fucked. It's gonna be awesome."
I was kind of making a surf movie that was going to be called Blue Fucking Corduroy with my friends. That was a longboard movie, and it was really like my idea of longboarding was really, I had no idea what was going on in the world of longboarding. It was just me and my friends used to ride old logs, and I thought it was cool. I thought it was like, I just filmed them, and they weren't the best, but I just thought like it just was so much more fun oriented. I eventually met Joel Tudor, and he'd seen some of my other movies and knew of my work from art and stuff, and he was like, "Let's make a surf movie, you know, and document like these longboarders in California," which I really didn't know much about. Like I knew what I liked, and I liked this simple kind of older style of longboarding. But I said yeah, and then we made it, and that was The Seedling. And then after that, for 5 years, worked on Sprout slowly.
I was kind of a fan of his work. I really, really love his photography, and it's always just like struck a chord with me. For whatever reason, I would see it and go, "Oh, you know, what is this?" So I started to learn about him a little bit, and when I met him, I heard that he was working on a surf film, and that was right about the same time that I quit surfing in contests. So I had some time, like I had a serious amount of time. When he made Seedling, there wasn't like any really like full-on sponsored type of surfers in it, so I didn't really think he'd be that interested in like filming somebody with logos on their boards and stuff like that. So not long after that, he called and was like, "Hey, I'm going on this trip," and we didn't know each other that well yet. You know, we'd kind of talked and got along, but then we went to Sri Lanka. Well, first France for his art show, and then next we went to Sri Lanka for like a month. So that's how you dive in and get to know somebody really well.
And he's like, "Hey, this is Thomas. I met you before. I'm making another movie. Do you want to go on a trip?" And I was like, I think it was like I was a freshman in high school or something. I was pretty young. And I was like, immediately, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, I want to go on this trip." He's like, "With Dan Malay," and I didn't know him yet. And I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is going to be sick." He's like, perfect longboard waves, nobody around. You know, I hadn't been on that many trips, especially to places like Sri Lanka, you know, an island off of India. He asked me if I'd go. I said, "Sure, no problem." I told my parents, and they were just like freaked out. They were like, "You're going to go with some guy to India?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's going to be sick, dude. It's going to be super sick for a month," like right when school started, you know. Parents were like not digging that at all. And then I was like, "Well, you'll talk to the guy and it'll be totally cool. You can see that he's where he's coming from and stuff."
I got in touch with Alex's father, and Alex was like 16 maybe when I started. Yeah, it wasn't too much longer after. Probably was 16 when I started talking to his father about going there with us. And at the time, that country had been in civil war officially for 100 years, and there's war in some parts of the country, and his dad had been in Vietnam, and he was like freaking out on like his son going to this place. Didn't know me, like was just like, what, you know.
Thomas is a bit of like an artist, you know, and my parents are pretty easygoing, but like I think them talking to him freaked them out even more. They were like, "That guy seems totally crazy, he talks really weird, he takes forever to talk to, a lot of long pauses."
And I just had called in the troops, had everyone I know call him and vouch for me and get it all together, and then it just barely came together in the end, and then finally happened.
It was really fucking good. Like the waves were super sick, and it's good traveling with Thomas. He's a visionary. He definitely knows what he wants. He's like, "Dude, it's so good. Like there's sharks out there." And he's like, "Dude, it's totally cool. You're not gonna get eaten by a shark. Never happens. You know, but those situations are good. They add character, I guess. Thomas Campbell. Blow all your money on his movies.